Hey, this is Reid's Reviews. Today let's check out this JHS AT pedal. The AT stands for Andy Timmons because this is a signature pedal. Andy Timmons bought a JHS Angry Charlie several years ago, and he spent time working with JHS to build upon that into a pedal that had a little bit more of the tone and sound that he wanted. And ultimately what ended up coming out of this is the JHS AT pedal. The pedal has a British overdrive sound, but it's fairly flexible. You can do a lot with it. You have the drive, you have something called air, and then something called EQ. Your drive is your typical distortion. It breaks up the sound as you move it to the right. The EQ and the air complement each other. They both act as tone or presence knobs, whereas you move them to the right, they both give a more full sound. They provide more treble. What I've noticed is that the EQ, as you move it to the right, it seems to give you a little bit more treble than the amount that the air does. But again, these kind of complement each other. The air lets you kind of fine tune, from what I'm seeing or hearing, the EQ sound that you've set up. But in essence, they're both what many pedals would call a tone knob. It has a really good sound at everything in the mid position. It's a nice overdrive that it's kind of a subtle, mellow sound. It's not sharp. It doesn't have tons of treble in it, but enough to create a full enough signal to sound good. It's just a great overdrive sound. It doesn't sound too over the top. It's not too subtle either, and there's a great range, even with everything in the mid position, of sound. It's actually a sound that I really like. So let's go ahead and turn some of these up. Actually, let me describe this first. This switch here, it's a three-way switch. It's there to kind of emulate what the sound would be like coming from a 25 watt, 50 watt, or 100 watt amp. The up position is the 25, the down position is the 50, and the middle is the 100 watt. If I put this up to 25, I'm going to have to, in order for you to hear anything, I'm going to have to turn the volume up. And I have to admit, even though there's got to be some difference there, I personally don't see a ton. And so it's, to me, more like a boost switch, with the middle being the loudest, which is kind of interesting. The top is the lowest and the bottom is middle. So let's go ahead and crank up the EQ all the way. Just adds quite a bit more treble. I'm going to hit this chord. You can tell it almost seems like a little bit of a boost, as well as even more treble when you crank them both up. Let's bring this one, the top one, the EQ, to the middle. And what I've noticed is that it seems like the EQ is a little more drastic with regards to tone. As you move it to the right, it seems a little bit more trebly. The air seems to be have less of a swing from the very left to the right. In a way, if you wanted to, you could think of it as more of like a fine-tuned knob. You get the sound that you want more or less up the EQ, and then you can kind of fine-tune that a little bit with the air. Now by bringing the air all the way down to the bottom, I leave EQ in the middle. It's pretty muffled. Let's try it the other way around. Still pretty muffled. Both together in the mid position sounds great. Let's try the drive. Let's crank the drive all the way up. A lot more buzzy. I don't think it's quite as classy, but you know, when you bring the distortion up on any pedal, usually you get kind of a drastic sound. But it's not horrible. It's actually kind of still decent. You do get a little more noise in the background, just because you've cranked the drive all the way up. Let's try cranking the drive all the way down. Okay, there's not much. Sounds awfully like a clean signal. Now there's a quarter. You know, this isn't bad either. Just gives it a little, just enough overdrive to make it sound good. So let me give you my thoughts on this. I think it's a great pedal. It has a true classic overdrive sound that doesn't sound fabricated, and it sounds very nice with everything kind of in the mid position. Would I recommend this? You know, it's tough because there's a lot of overdrive pedals out there. I don't get much out of the three-way switch here. The air and the EQ knob are nice, that they kind of complement each other, but at the same time I think you could accomplish the same thing with one knob, just moving it from left to right. I would say that from an overdrive pedal standpoint, this is up there with some of the better ones. If you dig the sound, yeah, for sure, get it. But because there are a few pedals kind of in that upper end of overdrive quality, there are other options that you can choose from that are going to sound just as good. So don't get me wrong, this is a great pedal. It sounds really nice, but there are other pedals with comparable sounds. Hey, and if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and subscribe. We'll chat with you later. Bye.